When you start new things in your life or start showing up in a new way, there's usually always some sort of test that comes along with it. And this test can come in many different ways, and that's usually the part where you end up stopping if you have a hard time staying consistent on things. It's the point where you end up getting discouraged and think maybe I can't do this, and then you give up, and then you try and start again, and then the same thing happens, and it's kind of like this repetitive cycle. So in this video, I want to help teach you what to look for when this happens, how to know this is exactly what it is and not get discouraged from it, and figure out how to keep moving forward and not let this stop you. So first I want to say, if you have experienced this in the past, which I'm sure you have if you're watching this video, I just want to let you know that it's perfectly okay to restart. It's perfectly okay to sometimes get discouraged by this and let it knock you off course. My goal here is to teach you what to look out for so this doesn't happen so often. But I just want you to remember that restarting is okay and is also very encouraged. No matter how many times you were inconsistent with something in the past and restarted and tried again and failed at it again, that you should be looking at as your commitment to it. How important it is to you, because if you keep trying something, even if it doesn't work out, even if you get discouraged easily, if you keep coming back to that one thing, it truly proves that this is important to you and that you are committed to it. Often it's easy to look at this as just complete failure when something doesn't work out and it starts getting hard and you don't know how to overcome that. And all you look at when you see this one thing is failure and that it didn't work out. And it's also easy to look at it as completely starting over when you go back to it and try again. But it really isn't starting over completely, because when you go back to something that didn't work out in the past, especially if it didn't work out many times, you have multiple examples of things that didn't work out in the past. You have learned from it. You have seen the things that haven't worked out. So you have not gone back here to the starting point. You're up here rather than where you started in the beginning, because you're not going to make these mistakes again. For me, before I started looking at things like that, it was so much more discouraging when something wouldn't work out, because I would just completely view it as starting over again, completely from zero. And that was a lot harder to also get motivated to do again, especially if it went wrong multiple times. But once you put that view onto it, it makes it a little bit easier to start over again and say, okay, well, you know what? I know what doesn't work. I know where I went wrong last time, and I know that I can at least not do those things this time. If you feel scared about starting something new that you haven't tried before, you have to learn to be okay with being a beginner at something. Because especially if you have dealt with things like this in the past where it feels like you're starting over completely with all of the last things, you might get more of a view that being a beginner or beginning again, that's not the same thing because of the extra knowledge. But you might get the idea that being a beginner is a bad thing and that you're suddenly behind, which isn't true, but it can really deter you from starting things at all. So I just want you to make sure that the idea of being a beginner isn't stopping you from doing those things that you want to do. Now, with being a beginner, we're going to talk about where the tests come up in here. So whether it's you're a beginner or you're still working on building something, it's failed a few times, you've kept trying, wherever you are, if you're in the state where you're still learning how to do things on the certain topic that you're focusing on, there's often a I can't do this that comes right in the beginning whenever something gets hard for the first time and you're like, wow, this really hit me, how difficult this is right now. Sorry guys, my other ring light died. I had to go get the other one, and I turned the other light on while we were at it because it was going to be really dark without it. Where were we? So when you hit that phase of you feel like you can't do it, that's that exact moment that it is easy to just be like, okay, you know what, this is too hard. I'm not doing it. This has happened to me in so many different scenarios, and I let it get the best of me. I'm somebody who has a lot of different interests at all times, and so it's also easy for me to give up on some. If I actually try one, it'll be easier for me to give up on it because I'm like, oh well, I have all these other things that I could try, so it's whatever. I would let the frustration of that get the better of me and then stop doing it. And then sometimes it would be that cycle of me like trying again and still ending up like quitting every time because I'd be like, oh, this is too hard. It really changed when I actually started deciding when I hit that really hard point and I was like, okay, this happens every time, but like, what would happen if I just kept going? What would happen if I just pushed through this difficult point? Let's just see. And I was like, okay, well, like if it's completely impossible and I keep trying and I can't do it, when I put like all my effort into it, then I can stop. But if I put all my effort into it right now and I get past this problem and then it's easy again, then that'll prove to me that that's just the dip with the starting point or the test. So after I started not letting that situation get the best of me, and I was like, okay, you know what, like this is hard right now, but I'm just gonna do it anyway, it felt like so much of an accomplishment once I started doing it. And that might seem simple or obvious, but like sometimes it's like the simple things that really get you to the point where you're like, oh, I wish I actually like tried this. Cause like it's obvious, just do it anyway, just keep going. But it's like once you kind of like see more to it, that's why I wanted to make this video, because like it's not always easy to recognize that that point comes with pretty much everything, especially in a time with a lot of instant gratification with social media and stuff. It's so easy to just be like, okay, this isn't working right now instantly, and so like I quit, like I'm not doing this anymore. And like that's the main problem for us right now because we're so used to that. But it's also a lot of cheap dopamine, fake dopamine, whatever. Like it's not really real. And that's why like when you actually push through something that you're really wanting to do, but like you get to that hard point, it feels like so much more of an accomplishment and like it sticks with you for longer. Like this was something that was like temporary that like I did the first time I like really pushed through something that was like really hard and didn't ask somebody else for help or like put it to the side or like quit something. Like this was such a pattern for me that like I would do it with like almost everything that wasn't like super easy for me. I forget what the thing I was that I was like saying along with this was, but I'm editing this and I realized that I forgot that like what I was saying with the whole like achievement thing. But when I like actually pushed through and went past that hard part and like it all worked and like I realized it was easy after I got through that hard part, I'm still proud of that achievement, even though like it doesn't really affect me in my daily life. I could have just gone and asked for help. I could have just like been like, I don't want to deal with this and not had to deal with it. But the fact that I actually did it and that I pushed through the hard part is like something I think about all the time. Every time I think about that something's hard and I get to that point, I just think about that one time and I'm like, wow, I'm so glad that I did that because it really proved to me that I could do it on other things too. Like I can push past that hard point on other things as well. Sorry, the camera's shaky, I'm holding it. But like, yeah, I needed to get that point in there. That was important. And I forgot. So I get it. Like I'm not just like the type of person to be like, oh, like just do it. Like it's not that hard. Like, but like seriously though, like it has to be explained in a certain way because sometimes like you don't get it and you don't want somebody that's going to be like a know-it-all. It's like, yeah, just do it. Like that's not going to help you. Like you need to hear it from somebody who's like been through the same thing. So like hopefully this video gives you a different perspective on it. Now, differently than just something being difficult, there's also a mood drop too that I notice personally, and this might not be a thing for everybody, but if you notice that you sometimes like randomly get depressed or upset or anxious, or it could be a bunch of different emotions, like it could be different for everybody, but for me, it's usually like I'll start to feel depressed or I'll start to feel like anxious. They usually mean two different things, but like for me, like the depressed feeling, it usually lasts like a few days and like it can really knock me off like all of my good habits, like all the things that I was doing well. Like recently I've really been trying to stay focused on all the things that I want to get done. Since it's like getting to the end of the year and everything, I want to be able to start the year off like already going strong. Like I don't want to be like starting on the new year and being like, okay, well like on January 1st, I'm gonna start like doing all this stuff. Like for me that doesn't work, and for a lot of people that doesn't work either. I definitely suggest kind of like getting started now if you want to like make a big change in this new year. Start at any point. Like you don't have to wait till the first day of the year to get started. Like you can already be sailing through, and you know what, like you can get through the harder parts first, like before that time even comes. But even if you're watching this after the new year has already started, again, timing doesn't matter, dates don't matter. Start today. Start at any point. Every second's a new second, every minute's a new minute. Like any minute you could start. You don't have to wait for a new day, a new week, a new month, a new year. And sometimes it's more exciting to say, okay, I'm starting this day, but like give yourself permission to be able to start at any point and not have to wait. You don't have to wait to enjoy your life and to get the things that you want to get done. So anyway, when I start to get that depressed feeling, for me, I know that some type of shift is coming. Even if I'm not working on something specifically, sometimes I'm just like trying to improve mentally, or like I guess there always is something that I'm trying to improve on when this happens. And it's really like a test on like how serious are you gonna stay on this. I also want to say, don't be like harsh on yourself. Like if you notice this happens to you and you're like, okay, well, like then I'll just keep doing it anyway, like I'll force myself to do it. When I'm feeling like that, if I try to force myself to do something, like that's the point where you can get like burnt out, or it can just like mess with what you're doing. The thing that I always do is instead of like pushing myself too hard, because obviously I'm like in a lower ability to do certain things, I just try my best to do things. Like I'll do things just a little bit. Like say I wanted to film a video or something, but like I'm really just not feeling up to it, and I know if I do it, like I'm just gonna kind of, it's not gonna be a good video, it's not gonna be something I'm proud of or something I feel good posting. So in that case, I'll just do something else that's related. Maybe if I have a video from the past, I'll try to edit that one a little bit, or if I have a few ideas to write down for videos in the future, I'll write down those ideas. Or even if I can just think of a few things that I can do to improve my videos going forward, I'll like write that down too. Or I'll just do something else that I feel like I'm able to do at that time instead, and say, you know what, like I'll just do these things so I still feel like I did something. So even if you have to do less, if you have to kind of just put something aside, don't put it aside so far that it's like easy to like drop off that one. Like keep up momentum on other things. Even if it's hard to do something, just find the things that are working towards your goals that aren't too much for you. Because if you fully let it go, like I find if I fully let all of it go and I'm just like, whatever, I'm just gonna sit and scroll all day, then I end up just feeling crappy, because then it becomes this cycle, and then it's like harder to get out of it afterwards. So if you're like, I always envision it as like I like fell on the ground, right? But I can't stand up fully right now. So like I'm just like dragging myself along, or I'm like crawling until I can stand up, until I can walk, and then until I can run. So like I don't know. That's like what I envision with it. I'm like, at least if you can do something, at least if you can move like a little bit, even if you're not doing the main thing that you want to do, like it's better to do a little bit or something similar than to not do anything at all and to like let that get the best of you. And I know it can be like really hard, but like also if you can see it coming and you know what's happening with that, if you experience that in the same way I do, it's easier to like look at it and be like, okay, like this happens. I know that it won't last forever. You can do more journaling. Like I do more journaling in that time. I actually journal every day now. Like I made that habit. So like even when I'm in one of those periods of time, like I can feel like I accomplished something. Like even journaling feels like an accomplishment, like being able to like do it every day and stuff. So like I do enjoy doing that. So like find the things that you can do any day, even if you're not feeling it. Find those things that you can do any day and that you can still feel like you accomplished something. Me back from the future again. I also think that with those lows, with the anxiety or the depression, it's kind of your mind coming in to be like, girl, this isn't safe. Like, don't you remember these things? Like, it's bringing up your limiting beliefs. It's like, girl, but like this could be dangerous. Like, you shouldn't do that. And it's kind of like trying to bring you down a bit so you don't make a mistake or like don't do something dangerous, and so to like give you that anxiety and you're like, oh my god, like I shouldn't do this, or why am I suddenly anxious? And it's kind of like that subconscious brain doing its thing. Or I'm not exactly sure about the depression one, but it's got to be something like stuff getting stirred up in there being like, are you sure, like this doesn't seem like a good idea? And it's kind of trying to like bring you back to old programming, so it's like you don't step out of your comfort zone or something like you're trying to do, you know, like wanted to add that in there. Also, when I feel like it's not for a specific thing, that is very unspecific. When I feel like it is not for a specific habit, like if I wasn't starting any new habits or anything, like I just felt like I randomly got that low. I also feel like when I come out of those lows, I have some type of newfound knowledge. This is like a pattern every time. Like the first time, it was not the first time I really had this. The first time I came out of it with a real helpful newfound knowledge was when I was having like a really hard time, and I like completely changed everything around, and this was like the entire start of my inner work and stuff. Like this whole entire healing journey like started there, and I was like super anxious and super depressed for 3 weeks straight at least, and it was like so bad that it was kind of scary, and it just wouldn't go away. And I had been feeling called to start doing meditation and start doing yoga, but I always ignored it. But I finally got to a point where I'm like, okay, like I cannot handle this anymore, and like I'm just gonna try this. I'm gonna try both of them, and I'm gonna try it 2 times a day, every single day. And like I stayed with that, and that like completely transformed everything. And yeah, so like that for me was like my newfound knowledge out of that dip. And like every time I have one of those lows, I find myself like going back up like even higher than I was before. I mean, sometimes it's like level, it depends on what it is, but like often I find like I come out better, like there was some kind of thing that was like processing, or like I kind of see it as like energy clearing. Like, you know, maybe you don't, but like if you have like certain pieces of clothing or something, or certain items that like hold on to specific memories, and you go to like get rid of them, like for me when I do that, like sometimes I like start to feel anxious, or like start to feel like those feelings that I felt like with whatever item it is that has memories attached to it or energy with it. So like when I like take those out to get rid of them, I start to like feel anxious, and it's just a very uncomfortable feeling. And so when I think about that in relation to like how it feels when I have like that low before I come out like in a better space, it feels like there's kind of like a shift going on that's like preparing. It's like getting rid of old thinking and the older version of me. It's like moving that outwards and like expressing those feelings, and that's what I'm feeling. And then after that, like I feel better because it like made room for like a better version of myself, if that makes sense. Like that's what I see it as. Sometimes things get a little bit worse before they can get better in some situations, so like that's what I see it as for that type of thing. So yeah, I guess that one's like a little less related to like a dip before starting something, but I guess that would be starting your new life then. Sometimes I guess I'm not even like in control of that. That's kind of like whatever the universe, God, is facilitating. But anyway, I hope this video was helpful. Also, if you want to hear more on like the difficulty with starting things and you haven't seen a few of my more recent videos, I'm not sure what order I'm going to be posting them in, because my goal for this week is to film a bunch of videos. But I have a few like kind of on this topic. I figured like it would be good to have certain videos like this going into the new year, so that you can kind of figure out how to like get going with the goals that you have and like the things you want to do. So yeah, so there's gonna be a lot more videos coming. If you want to see those, I do self-improvement content, stuff on shifting your mindset, some manifestation stuff, spiritual stuff, like everything like that. It kind of ties all into each other. So if you're interested in stuff like that, please subscribe to this channel. I'd love to have you as a part of this community. And if you have any video requests that you'd like to see under those topics or something similar, please leave it below in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate all of you, and I hope this was helpful. And then I also hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!